Hello everyone, how do you do? In this video, we're going to be talking about know your friends. Know your friends. My name is Christy and I welcome you to my channel. Like I said earlier, the topic of today is know your friends. And as usual, I look up the description of who a friend is or what a friend is. And I came up with this. Of course, I put my own coinage and I arrived at this. A person with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, not always, but could include sexual or family relations. That's what I came up with. A person with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, not always, but could include sexual or family relations. And then friendship is a state of mutual trust and support between friends. That is, the emotions, conduct as friends is the state of being friends. And then friendliness is the quality of being friendly, that is, showing kindness to others. Okay, so I'd like to briefly talk about types of friends. They are inexhaustible, but let me just pick number four or five. We have the busybodies, gossips. We have casual friends. We have the lifers, those that you've been friends with from childhood and it will not break. They're still friends. We have best friends. I don't know whether people still have best friends, but it's a type of friends. So, because this is getting very scarce these days to have a best friend. That is a tall order. But it's a type of friend, so that's why I'm not going to discard it totally. And then we have friends. Somewhere I saw they tagged it second-hand friends. This means these ones are friends of your own friends. So all of you are now friends. We have those that we share mutual interest. They are friends as well. We have long distance friends. The internet has shortened the distance. However, they are not really by your side. They are not on site, so they're still long distance friends. We have friends that you can be vulnerable with. You can let down your guards. You can tell everything. Huh? You can tell everything. This is another very tall order. However, few still exist. We have the spontaneous ones. They can disrupt your itinerary if you're not careful. We have the energy sappers. They're adventurous. I said I would refrain myself from talking too much about types of friends because it can actually take me off the essence of this conversation, which is know your friends. However, hmm, I would like to say this that it is so important to know your friends because even the Bible says, can two work together except they be agreed? And in a common palace, there's this famous statement, show me your friends and I'll tell you whom you are. Therefore, this topic is a very vital one. If you get to know your friends, you would know their preferences, for instance. You know their spirituality. Yes, you know how they are disposed to other people. You know the environment. You know the nitty gritty, where they're from, how their background is. It's not to judge anyone. But it's for you to be able to draw necessary and appropriate boundaries so you don't get messed up. It's important. It can never be overlooked for you to know your friends. You need to know who this fellow is. Now, you might have known this fellow years back, and then suddenly you just bumped into one another. It's important for you to know who that fellow is now. So, so important. Because he may have changed. He may have shifted over time. So you need to run a check on him before you overexpose yourself to him and land yourself in avoidable trouble, avoidable wahala. While at it, that is running the check exercise, you should caution yourself. Be very careful until you are reasonably sure. Do not open up yourself. Don't expose yourself to him, to her. Yes. And as usual, I like to paint a picture to make this my point very clear so I'll be able to appreciate it better. And as usual, if he has any semblance of what you are going through, please, there's nothing, it's not directed at anyone or at any particular event. It's just an illustration to make my point clear. So, Demola appeared in his friend's house, Bola, who resided in one of the hinterland states with his family. Bola is not married. His wife, Titi, and their children, 2 children. Bola is a married man now, married to Titi, and between the two of them, they have 2 children, beautiful children. Demola and Bola were classmates in high school, way back. Of course, it was a happy reunion. Though Bola wondered how Demola got to know where he was, having lost contact soon after they passed out from high school about 35 years ago. Titi, that's Bola's friend, thought it was a weekend stay over, you know, surprise visits. You know, she started to get worried when Demola would not leave after 1 week. She called her husband's attention to this and requested that it should ask his friend when he would be leaving. Bola was not happy that her wife Titi wanted his friend to leave. Apparently, he was enjoying Demola's company, his friend. He had a lot of catching up to do. Unfortunately, before the end of Demola's second week in Bola's residence, security operatives, government security operatives, who had been on Demola's trail, tracked him down in Bola's residence. Demola, who was a class captain, well-behaved boy in school, was now a member of a dangerous drug syndicate. Can you believe that? Who could have ever imagined that? Of course, Demola and Bola were whisked off by the security operatives. It took 3 days of legal back and forth before Bola could regain his freedom. You see? In my next video, we are going to be appraising these characters, and we're going to be talking about the lessons we've been able to draw from this picture I've painted. Demola, Bola, Titi, and the whole gamut of you knowing your friend. Yes, I thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you would leave your comments, your reactions under the comment section, and I ask and plead that you should subscribe to my channel, like, share my videos. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.